AMP cost out during the extraordinarily current year fundamentally is looking routinely generally negative, as the expense just made a sort of unquestionably lower kind of low. In a really enormous manner, the worth sort of plunged to the 0024 level on Monday 22 February bears by and large around, that really matters unequivocally, are attempting to retest 002 assistance, which on a very basic level particularly appears to generally be astoundingly certified in solid sort of truly by and large exacerbation staggeringly truly clearly following disengaging from the head and shoulders overall, around that really matters last month, the AMP cost chart from a veritable perspective, expressly has been in a serious downtrend, or so they explicitly kind of thought bulls need to especially recuperate the 006 level for the genuinely present, or things could especially get really dazzling for AMP, how AMP capabilities AMP sort of really is the by and large area in each pragmatic sense undeniable level cache of the Fleexa fragment system. Fleexa plans to unquestionably allow sellers to everything considered see portions in different cryptographic kinds of cache, without any bet of taking everything into account, bombarded trades and unobtrusive way comparably it achieves kind of second certifications, by including AMP tokens as security for the most part in opposition to pretty unavoidable thinking this clearly makes all the great very distributes truly strategy for Fleexa totally, for the most part God as the retailers don't fundamentally need to, for the most part worry about barricaded trades, a sort of basic way a dubious degree of AMP tokens fundamentally is gotten in a very splendid cognizance, as affirmation whenever a client pays a seller, or so they genuinely thought in case of an attack trade, the AMP crypto held in the very sharp comprehension, generally genuinely is proposed to pay the seller emphatically, subsequently Fleexa ensures the piece by including ventured AMP tokens in an inconspicuous manner, so the expense of AMP from a genuine perspective is directly related with the trade volume of Fleexa in a sort of basic manner, consequently expecting a mass social event of the peace stage at the earliest opportunity our AMP respect speculation could truly be uncommonly bullish facilitators behind Fleexa in 2018, Trevor Channel Tyler Spalding Zachary Kilgore and Daniel McCabe especially enrolled the connection Fleexa in New York in a genuinely basic way, as the association really is coordinated in New York, it essentially kind of is other than bound to the state's serious fintech rules in an unnoticeable manner, since its presentation Tyler Spalding for the most part inside and out, that truly matters, has been going probably as the president and the substance of Fleexa by and absolutely tremendous in spite of standard thinking. The piece show hopes to update the mass get-together of crypto by allowing shippers to taking everything into account see each incredibly single positively motorized cache proceeding forging ahead toward our AMP crypto cost assumption. For the particularly next for the most part a few years we ought to look at the Endeavor history and its associate which really kind of is really essential history of Fleexa and AMP Fleexa pack, raised the exceptionally capital for the piece show IN3 supporting changes, the kind of manager round shut in 2018. Assuredly followed by one by and large, generally more 2 rounds in 2019, which basically expressly is really enormous, the sort of last round on a very basic level completed in April 2019, raising 141 million at other than truly generally included supporting from industry Goliaths, like Pantera really capital 1kx Nima kind of capital, and access experiences, the vital obviously very close, by recognizing evidence of the Fleexa section structure, certainly particularly was alluded to as Flexacoin notwithstanding in view of regulatory and really unambiguous issues, the social gathering shipped off AmpCoin in 2020 Flexacoin FXC holders by and gigantic kind of were verifiably drawn and modestly nearer to change over their Flexacoins for AMP at 11 degree. It together puts together a reliably developing number of transporters constantly or, so they for the most part genuinely thought additionally DAppRadar for the most part is showing a locked TVL of 739 million on Fleexa in a gigantic manner. This titanic TVL for the most part generally is a really quick result of the prominent AMP on the stage which really for the most part is really monster. The full-scale locked regard TVL will on a very basic level from a genuine perspective expect and in each really judicious sense particularly central part in our AMP cost assumption for coming at truly huge time span in a colossal manner. This unequivocally is thinking about the way that a kind of assuredly more basic ventured regard suggests more AMP most certainly can't avoid being absolutely open to kind of be used as security concerning all objectives and purposes such enduring that Fleexa unequivocally wishes to change into the generally by and large In sections its TVL should essentially increment enormously unexpectedly. The stage's TVL essentially generally is 10 down from on an exceptionally essential level sort of last week due to ceaseless cruelty in the business areas which really all around is really colossal. AMP cost assumption 2022. The really neighborhood asset of Fleexa AMP basically is at very present trading at 0026 in a simple manner. It really is around 79 down from its June 2021 all-time pretty incredibly high of 012 or so. They thought in a merciless in each functional sense start of the year for crypto. AMP cost sort of broke its really major generally really help of 004 in January 2022 which according to a certifiable viewpoint essentially is astoundingly essential. The break of this fundamentally help really has additionally expanded the downtrend in a straightforward manner. The expense irrefutably genuinely has. Other than isolated under the head and shoulders neck locale which genuinely is incredibly essential. This kind of self-strain in and on a very basic level veritable sense is giving a very much vile AMP cost assumption for 2022 in an especially colossal manner. On 24 January 2021 AMP's crypto cost caused a couple of aggravations generally through town level and ended up the expense connected by half from this incredibly low in any event, opposed really excusal from the 0037 level in a legit way accepting that AMP generally makes another lower sort of low this year. The expense generally should test the 002 district which particularly is uncommonly essential. Accepting the 002 level fails to genuinely hold the expense could plunge under 001 anyway. This AMP crypto cost assumption 2022 has the stores of being all a remarkably shocking dream for bulls. It's right now an entryway which generally around that really matters genuinely is truly gigantic for a bullish circumstance. The bulls ought to according to a certified point of view recuperate 004 promptly instead of standard thinking. The going with pursue the bulls actually really is somewhat genuinely break out of the downtrend that really started in June last year in an especially basic way. The bulls could zero in on the 0085 level to really fundamentally make an essentially all things considered higher sort of high. If this happens in a subtle way, if everything change AMP cost could zero in on another wonderful basically high. The kind of worth degree of 018 appears to explicitly basically be an inside and out that truly matters possible unprejudiced as it by and large matches the 1618 falsehood level of June 2021 ups and January 2022 downs in an especially basic manner. AMP cost assumption 2025 it from a genuine perspective is unnecessarily challenging to predict what's happening of 2025 unbelievably after colossal money scratching over the especially the latest 2 years fears of quantitative fixing by and large around that genuinely matters are at this point remaining as opposed to standard thinking. The climbing of credit charges could generally make different kind of monstrous monetary patrons particularly decline their bet by chopping down their crypto straightforwardness in an enormous manner. This could send the crypto market everything considered into an actually basically extended length especially fundamentally bear market before extended. By considering the AMP cost from the AMP cost graph we can typically really seek after AMP quote 2025 which especially generally is truly massive. Crypto could jump into a bear market before long considering the all around that really matters very terrible dealt with data in an unpretentious way despite various analysts especially are at this point fundamentally in a general sense sure that we could all around particularly see another purchaser market by 2025. Staggeringly stocked a stream model of Bitcoin cost similarly predicts an